Live from Waterford and Dungarvan, this is Waterford at 1 News.
Good afternoon, I'm Sinead Aherne. Today's top stories. The Garda killed in County Roscommon overnight has been named as Detective Garda Colm Horkin. Waterford's Grace O'Sullivan believes party members will ultimately back the programme for government with Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil. There's been a slight increase in the numbers of people waiting to see a consultant at University Hospital Waterford. And in sport, rugby's Pro 14 has targeted August 22nd as the restart date for the 2019-20 season. A murder investigation is underway after a Garda was shot dead with his own gun. Detective Garda Colm Horkin was on patrol in Castlereagh in County Roscommon last night when the shooting occurred. From there, Casey O'Riordan reports.
Detective Garda Colm Horkin was responding to a disturbance on Castlereagh Main Street, which involved a man who'd been in contact with Gardaí earlier in the week. The situation evolved into a physical altercation during which his gun was taken from him. The entire round of bullets was discharged from the weapon and Detective Horkin was shot multiple times. The 49-year-old was pronounced dead at the scene. His colleagues joined in prayer as Father John McManus gave Detective Horkin his last rites.
It was very sad and sure they all knew each other so well, but a very poignant scene last night and filled with deep tragedy and sadness.
Local man Liam Scahill knew Detective Horkin. He says his loss is colossal for the community.
He was known by most of the people in town. He was well up for the banter about Roscommon Mayo football, which is, he could identify and communicate with the community.
A man in his 40s was arrested at the scene and is being held at Castlereagh Garda Station. Garda Commissioner Drew Harris will visit Detective Horkin's family and colleagues this afternoon to express his condolences. Casey O'Riordan in Castlereagh, County Roscommon.
Detective Garda Horkin has been described as a brave and greatly respected colleague. The Garda Commissioner, the President and the Taoiseach are among those paying tribute to the 49-year-old, as Stephanie Rowan reports.
The Taoiseach and President are leading the tributes to the family of Detective Garda Colm Horkin, with Michael D. Higgins saying his loss of life is traumatic for our society as a whole. Across the political divide, politicians have been paying their respects, with Fianna Fáil's Jim O'Callaghan saying an attack on a Garda is an attack on us all. MEP Luke Flanagan lives near the scene.
We're reeling here from this strange feeling to be sitting in your house at 12 o'clock at night and to hear that a guard is being shot 300 metres away and 100 metres away from your father and mother-in-law's house. It's just, it's an horrific day for Castlereagh, it's an horrific day for the Garda Síochána, and it's hard to know what to say.
Garda Commissioner Drew Harris said Detective Garda Colm Horkin served the communities he worked in with distinction and pride. The Association of Garda Sergeants and Inspectors said Gardaí are feeling a deep sense of grief and loss. President of the Garda Representative Association, Jim Mulligan, said he was a greatly respected colleague.
A man with that length of service and of that age, a family person going out to do their job and for this to happen.
The policing authority has also extended its sympathies, describing the shooting as a willful denial of the right to life.
A Green MEP believes party members will ultimately back the programme for government with Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil. 2,600 members are meeting via video link this afternoon to discuss the proposal agreed by the three parliamentary parties this week. Today's debate may give an indication as to how next week's vote on the issue will go. Waterford's Grace O'Sullivan says the Green Party's better in than out when it comes to government.
I actually think the majority now will support this deal. I think we'll get the two-thirds, but it won't be easy, that's for sure. And today is a hugely important day for the party because a huge number of the party have indicated they will participate.
Very significant changes are needed in how Ireland cares for vulnerable people, according to the CEO of the HSE. In his opening statement to the Oireachtas Committee for COVID-19, Paul Reid said governance in the private nursing home sector needs to be significantly developed. The HSE and the Department of Health are before the committee discussing their responses to outbreaks in residential care homes. Paul Reid says the changes needed by the nursing home sector will require efforts from all stakeholders.
It's clear that there is a requirement for very significant changes in relation to the models of care that are used in this country to care for our most vulnerable older people. These changes require concerted effort across policymakers, regulators, providers and clinical experts to achieve a safe and sustainable model of care into the future.
Restaurants and bars serving food will be required to collect the contact details for at least one person per booking when they reopen on June 29th. Under new plans, customers will be allowed to spend 1 hour 45 minutes eating a meal as opposed to the 90 minutes originally proposed. A further 15 minutes will be reserved for cleaning. Fall to Ireland says premises serving food can also reduce the 2 metre physical distance rule to 1 metre if necessary. Speaking to WLR, these people in Portlaw say they won't be returning to the pub under these restrictions.
Actually, it goes out about once a week now, 2 pints and I'm gone now, but I'm only 40 yards away, so the wife will do my cook. And
I think it'll be chaos. It looks good on paper to somebody in government, but it's ridiculous. So when this does pass, it'll be a poker night and cans, I suppose. The only thing you'd miss is a few pints and watching the football.
There's been a slight increase in the numbers of people waiting to see a consultant at University Hospital Waterford. It comes as the hospital has confirmed that all outpatient activity has increased. WLR's Karen Tompkins has the details.
The latest data from the National Treatment Purchase Fund shows that 42,587 people were waiting for an outpatient appointment in Waterford at the end of May. That's an increase of 262 people since the end of April. A third of those patients, 14,071, are on that list for at least 18 months. No other hospital has that many patients waiting that long. Ear, nose and throat, orthopaedics and dermatology continue to have the longest lists. ENT accounts for almost a quarter of the total numbers waiting in Waterford. A spokesperson for UHW told WLR News that they've already commenced the resumption of a number of services. They say that all outpatient activity has increased and a new managed outpatient facility has commenced in the ground floor of the Dunmore wing. They added that hospital management will continue to reintroduce patient services in line with COVID-19 guidelines.
A former US ambassador to the UN says Ireland's record on peacekeeping is among the factors that help secure a seat on the Security Council. Ireland will take up one of the non-permanent seats from January along with Norway after seeing off competition from Canada. Samantha Power, a former US ambassador to the UN who sat on the Security Council, says it's an extraordinary achievement.
I think Ireland's record in peacekeeping, the fact that it's an island country at a time when climate poses an existential threat, the commitment to development assistance, even very recently after Trump did the unspeakable and pulled out of the WHO and pulled back US funding at the height of a global pandemic, for Ireland to punch so far above its weight and quadruple its contribution to the World Health Organization. All of these things really make a difference.
Waterford Crystal will be launching another campaign to encourage people to visit their Waterford City attraction. They usually welcome up to 160,000 international tourists every year. They're already involved in the Visit Waterford initiative, aimed at bringing more domestic tourists to the city and county this summer. Claire Barrett is the Business and Customer Support Manager with Waterford Crystal.
So the House of Waterford Crystal welcomes 200,000 visitors annually to the centre. We have domestic and international visitors, so we're looking forward to welcoming lots of visitors from Ireland who are having staycations and day trips to Waterford. So this campaign will be great to see it on digital, social, TV, print. We're also featuring with travel bloggers in Dungarvan, Girl Who Blooms. So this campaign will be great for the destination and promoting the attractions and things to do and reasons to come and stay in the city and county.
GAA Cool Camps across Waterford are preparing to resume this summer. It was announced this week the camps will return across the country despite the COVID-19 pandemic. They'll run from July 20th up until the end of August and will come as good news to many parents. Owen Brannock is the Games Development Manager with Waterford GAA. He expects 85% of clubs to run camps.
We're working with clubs this week and hope to have dates in place at the weekend for every club that is going to go ahead and run a camp. We would have had 42 camps scheduled. We think we'll probably have in the mid-30s. So, there are a few clubs who won't be able to hold a camp for different reasons. But the feedback certainly in the last 48 or 72 hours is very positive from clubs. And clubs are certainly looking to run the camps. And we're working with clubs on an individual basis.
Sports News on WLR.
With Virgin Media Waterford. Want super fast broadband today? Drop into Virgin Media George's Street and take it home with you. Easy as that.
First to rugby, where the Pro 14s targeted August 22nd as the restart date for the 2019-20 season, but the season will be shortened. The new format cuts the season from 21 round of games to 15, with the games postponed prior to the competition's suspension in March declared as scoreless draws. There'll be 2 rounds of derby matches in the final 2 weeks of August to help determine who plays in the semi-finals, which will be on September 5th, with the final a week later. In soccer, former Republic of Ireland manager Brian Kerr has expressed his concern that there seems to be no sign of the funding needed to restart the Premier and First Division seasons. The League of Ireland's the only European league that remains in limbo since the shutdown in early March. There were further talks between the FAI and the clubs last night, which were positive by all accounts. But with no sports minister in place as the government formation continues, with FIFA yet to make any funding announcements, Kerr is unsure how the restart can be financed.
We don't know who the new person is going to be in charge of the department of that, the sport parts of that ministry, which involves transport and a few other things as well. FIFA are incredibly slow to move on these things and making decisions.
And in racing, the going at Ascot is good to soft for Gold Cup Day following 11 millimetres of rain since yesterday's action at the Royal Meeting. The Gold Cup goes to post at 25-4. The first race is off shortly at 1:15. Sports news on WLR is thanks to Virgin Media Waterford. WLR asks you to stay safe by keeping your distance. Our next bulletin is at 2.